Hello and welcome to this episode of the Ranting Atheist podcast. Today we'll be listening to the deconversion story of a fellow Nigerian atheist who deconverted from Christianity. And for him, one of the things that helped him in his deconstruction was him understanding the Igbo Traditional Religion and seeing how Christianity and Islam were used as tools to promote genocide, white supremacy, and all that. And he just asked that question, like, why would he serve a God who saw all this happening just because its word was being propagated through the violence and the genocide and all that? And that really helped him to deconstruct Christianity and lose his faith totally. So if you are yet to subscribe, please subscribe on Apple, Spotify, Google, and other places you listen to podcasts. Then if you'd like to share your story, the links are in the show notes below on how to reach me so that we can work out a time that is convenient for you to share your story. So now let's go and listen to the deconversion story of Chidi. Hello bro, and you are welcome to Story of an Atheist. How you doing now?
I'm fine. Thank you for having me.
Yes, so thank you for coming. Thank you for agreeing to share your story with us, because we need to let people know, say, we are real human beings. With the chop, with the shit, with the fork, all join.
I swear, because whenever I say I'm an atheist, people think I'm joking. They're like, you're joking. You're not serious. You're trying to be different. It's like they've never seen an atheist before in real life.
You know the para now.
I know the para. I'm just a chilled person.
It's just online. And that's why, because you know the para, you are just chill. You are just, taking life easy.
I know get strength.
Okay, it's just a phase.
I swear, I don't even get strength for argument. So for the most part, I don't even engage in conversations about it. People go just they tell me, have you heard this theory? You don't hear that so and so person said, so and so other person said. I'm like, nigga, I don't know these guys. I don't care about these people.
Apologies, Tabi.
Yeah, they're talking about maybe people who were famous atheist scholars or whatever, and then they turned back to God. Or people, they all have their own things. And I don't know these people. I don't care about them. What I know that there is no God. So we'll shout and talk from this tomorrow. It changes nothing.
It's matter does the entire person. But it's a never-ending struggle. We add our own beats in whatever way we can. Next set, we carry on from there. But small. This time, like 10 years ago now, on Facebook, they don't burn anybody where to come and say they are atheists. All those,
I swear, even nowadays, my parents heard it, right? So I think I was mentioning it somewhere, and my parents heard it, and no. The preaching I got from, it was as if I had disappointed them on a scale that was just, I could not fathom. My mom was like, my mom was like, that I prayed for to come. What do you mean? I said, my dad on the other hand was not telling me, are you trying to say that Noah's Ark is not real, that they found Noah's Ark recently in so and so? I'm like, sure, why not?
It's not wise to argue with them. Just let it out.
I swear, I did not argue with them. But with my dad, I was like, okay, let's say even right now that I'm not an atheist, right? Let's say I'm not an atheist. Let's just say that I am someone who is finding their way to God. Like, I was born a Christian. All my life I spent going to church because my parents made me go to church. Let's say I'm someone right now, I'm at a point in my life where I'm trying to find my way back to God on my own terms and not the terms that my parents had laid out for me. What if that's what's going to... My parents said, no, what do you mean by that? What do you mean? No. I'm like, okay, so what you're trying to say is that even individual thoughts is not allowed in this Christianity.
It's not accepted. It's not allowed. It's not allowed.
No, no,
At
no.
all, at all, at all. So before we even go further, the listener, you are anonymous, so they want to know. They might want to know a little more about you. So, would you like to share your name, your location? Are you Gen Z? Are you a millennial? What do you do for a living? And any other thing that you are comfortable with sharing?
My name is Chidi.
All right.
Yeah, that's basically it. That's all we can know for now. Am I a Gen Z or millennial? I don't know. Sometimes, sometimes I don't know where millennial or Gen Z starts. So let's just say I am at the cusp.
Okay.
I am at the
Gen
cusp
Z,
of Gen
Gen Z
Z
starts at
millennial.
96, 96, 97, depending on who's
Okay,
calculating.
I would
That's
call
where Gen Z
myself a
starts
Gen
from.
Z then.
Oh, all right. Hallelujah,
Yeah.
hallelujah. I suspected as much. Millennials and Gen X's, majority of us have drunk the Kool-Aid. We are high on Jesus as fuck.
Oh, and a lot of Gen Z, oh, I know
But,
people who are younger than me that are deeply entrenched.
so wait. In comparison to millennials, Gen Z as deeply entrenched as them?
Well, I won't say that, but I feel like things like religion adapt for cultures generally learn to adapt for generations. You get what Christianity was
Yeah.
in the 90s is not what it was in the 50s. In the around the 90s and early 2000s, Christianity became more yoppie yoppie. You get for the yoppie yoppie generation,
Yeah.
and they had their own
Yeah. So
fresh take on it. Right now, Christianity has taken on a new whole kind of look to accommodate the Gen Z generation. So yeah, I feel like it will continue to be like that. It's going to adapt to all sorts of people, but it's still going to be basically the same run through message.
oh boy. Yeah. We're in for a serious ride, man. Especially with this country. We know the sea road. Every Sunday is a business day for Daddy Geos. God damn it.
Now the Geos, I don't like them. I don't like. There's a particular one. There's a particular one that I don't. I'm not. I won't say I'm a particularly hateful person. I don't used to hate people, but there's a particular one that I know in my heart of hearts that I actually hate.
What's his name? Name and shame.
Pastor Chris. So there's a lot of things about Pastor Chris. There's a lot of things about Pastor Chris that just irks me, and I would say mostly it's the cult following that is his church.
Oh shit.
It's more like it's
I'm
a
telling
very
you.
yeah. I went to the church for like 3 years. The last 3 years of my Christian life, I was at Christ Embassy. And if
Ah,
there was anything that pushed me more out of church, it was going to church and just seeing people like talk about pastor like he's some deity.
celeb.
Not celeb is
Oh, even
something. I
worse.
don't mind. I don't mind the
Ah.
celeb. I don't mind celebrity worship. But pastor said, pastor said, pastor said,
Hey, yeah,
this is a
yeah.
man.
Hey.
I mean, your
Even
religion
after
basically
the divorcing and everything, all those, he's
in
still a
that
god.
church, they have turned that woman, Anita, into they've demonized her, right? And you dare not mention Anita. They've
Alpha.
demonized Anita. So, no. Pastor Chris is blameless in that divorce to their eyes. Yeah, I was saying that it's not the celebrity, treating him like a celebrity is fair. It's fair. But it seems like he's a deity. Pastor said. I'm like, the God you literally worship says you shouldn't even deify somebody to this extent. But
Exactly.
pastor's word is the word.
Yeah, so that anti-vax rhetoric, they hold on to it so strongly that it will change your DNA, it will turn you to a robot. I'm just like, what the hell?
And
What the hell?
I fought with my father about that because my father is like very heavy on this on in Christ Embassy, really deeply entrenched. So I fought with my father because of that, and it wasn't like a fun thing to do. Me and my father, we are like very, very close. You get? We are very, very
Yeah.
close. We are basically G's. We speak like friends. We hang out all the time. Like, you know how they say Nigerian parents don't tell you I love you? My dad literally says I love you every time he calls me. So having that fight with my
Imagine.
father was not something that I ever
Was
thought
fun.
would happen. And because of
Yeah.
fucking Pastor Chris that doesn't know shit, a very unintelligent man, comes out on TV with a... What vexed me so much is that he did not even put work into his presentation. It had only one slide. Zero work was done. Like, if I was going to do a project, me, like to my office, let's say just a quick presentation, it would not have one slide. And maybe I'm going to tell my boss something, like, and he said, quickly do a project. Quickly. I won't do one slide. I won't even do two slides. He had one slide of it. I don't know where he got that image from. The arrows of a flowchart, the arrows were not even pointing to the correct places he said they should point. The thing was just like he had just woke up one morning and then drew rubbish and presented it to the whole world.
Because he knows they will chop it.
Exactly. It is that arrogance that annoyed me. The arrogance of coming with one slide to prove what you think is an earth-shattering fact.
Oh.
One slide. If you had put work into it, I won't even be that angry. I won't be angry. It was one slide of rubbish PowerPoint presentation. That a flow chart with the arrows pointing where he's a place different from where he was saying they should point. And it was just a mess.
That's
like,
that accent they deceive people join self.
I don't even know what accent that is. I don't even know what it is. Can you place it? Can you place his accents? I don't know what the accent is. I don't know what the accent is. And the thing is that there are doctors, there are scientists in that church. There are people who go to work every day and they look at this. People who are supposed to know better, and none of them are talking.
They switch off their brain.
Surely you can't tell me that everybody in his church believed that what he said was right. There were people who obviously knew he was talking trash.
But they dare not talk.
He probably went on Reddit, or maybe his assistant saw something on Reddit and shared it with him. He's like, oh my God, this is deep. So I had a fight with my dad because I studied engineering. So I had a fight with my dad about all of this. And I'm like, so who are you going to believe this? Me that went to school to study this exact same thing Pastor Chris is talking about, or your pastor? He says, and then my dad goes, but pastor has a PhD in fucking what? In divinity that he gave himself. What the fuck is a PhD in divinity? What the fuck is a PhD in divinity? What does that do for anybody? What does that mean for anything?
Bullshit.
How does a PhD in divinity know anything about viruses and how they work, or 5G, or telecommunications?
Aye. That was the part that took me out in 2020. It wasn't the virus that killed people in one channel. It was the 5G. If you say it's not, tell me how you get your own. I was like, what?
The thing, and then he now went on, like, right now, everybody can agree that 5G is not the cause of COVID, right? We all can agree. Even him can agree that 5G is not the cause of COVID, Abi. But has he come out to apologize for potentially endangering the lives of millions of people who look up to him? Has he? That's part of the fucking arrogance we are talking about. He go just a talk. If very unlearned. Anyway.
He will never. He will rather die. So, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Alpha.
I'm here. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Alpha. That's it. The network don't they do higgy haga again.
I can hear you. My network is still fine.
Okay. All right. So, it seems like Pastor Chris is the last bus stop. So let's go back to where it all began. Can you take us on that journey? Your background, on your exposure to Christianity before we reach Pastor Jerry Coy.
I'm sure. Why not? I think I would say that I grew up like a pretty much every Christian child. My mom taught Sunday school. My mom is also a teacher who teaches religious studies in school, Christian religious studies in school. But then this is because my mom, she studied religion and philosophy in uni and has a master's in it. So she kind of like views Christianity from a more scientific point of view than my father, who I would say just discovered Christianity in the last 10, 20 years, and he holds on to it with his dear life. My mom kind of sees it more in a scientific point of view. When I was younger and I would have like a question, like something that might inherently be deconstructing Christianity, my mother would not be like, don't ask me that kind of question. She will sit me down and actually answer that question, or try to answer, or say, I don't know. So I grew up being very curious about religion, and my mom encouraged that. My mom encouraged my curiosity a lot, not just about religion, about a lot of things. So I would say I remember a time in JSS 3 or SS1, my secondary school teacher then had just probably he too was just dabbling in atheist studies or whatever. So I've forgotten what they call that particular theory or whatever, where they say if God is benevolent and omnipotent, then evil should not exist, right?
Yeah,
I don't know, like
evil also. I think that.
Yes, the problem of evil. If God cannot be both benevolent and omnipotent, and then
powerful.
evil exists. And I was like worried because I could not answer that question. I was in boarding school. I could not answer that question. Because the way he put it is that he asked us, is God benevolent? I said, yes. If God is God omnipotent, we said, yes. He said, then why does evil exist? I said, we said we don't know. Because if God is benevolent, then he would want to stop evil. But he hasn't stopped evil. Is it because he doesn't have the power to stop evil? Then that means he's not omnipotent. Or if God is omnipotent and he's all strong, he can stop evil, and he hasn't, and evil is out here killing people, then that means he's not benevolent enough to do that. Yeah. So I was thinking, this is hard though. A few months later, when I returned home from boarding school, it was one of the first things I asked my mom. I explained it to her, and she was like, so that I should look at it this way, that if the world was filled only short people, we won't know that people at all. If there were no slim people, there won't be any fast people. If there is no rich, there won't be poor. But if there's no poor, if there's no lack, you might not understand or appreciate the stuff you have. In the same way that if evil did not exist, then there would be no good in the first place. So I was like, okay, that kind of makes sense. At that particular time, it kind of makes sense as to a reason why a God that is both omnipotent and benevolent would allow evil to exist. I'm just saying this to give you an example of the kind of mother I had, right? So she wasn't the kind of person that I would come with that kind of question. She'd be like, no, you never ask questions about that thing. Stop it. She was never that kind of person. So it kind of encouraged an open-mindedness in me. But then I was deep in it. I was deep in church. I was like a proper Christian, blah, blah, blah. But I was also a queer child growing up. I have never had an issue with my queerness growing up. It was just normal. It was just normal to me, right? So at some point in university, it started clashing in my head. Like I'll read past the parts of the Bible where they say that homosexual people should die or shit like that. Yeah. So but at some point, I stopped reading past that and started asking my questions. Why the hell should I die? I did not do anything. You get? Yeah. This fucking God created me this fucking way. So why is it that I am a mistake in his creating process? or he's just not real. And they said he doesn't make mistakes.
Everything God's plan.
Exactly. So my mere existence, I felt disproved God. Disproved the existence of this God. Yeah, because how would you create a whole ass thing and say we should kill it? Because you fucking created it. God created homosexuality. If you are going to accept that God is real, then we will also accept that God created homosexuality.
Simple.
So it didn't make sense to me. I was like, so that was where I started having the dissonance. I started disassociating with it. I started losing interest. But I was a leader in my university church. So I just kept on that leadership position till I graduated uni. But what I would say was my final disassociation from religion and Christianity in focus would be the idea of hellfire.
That right? Is the last chain.
Exactly. God is probably, God they say is all loving. They said he loves you more than your mother loves you.
Exactly.
And you know what? Me, I know love. I've been in love before. I have my mother's love. I love my mother. I love my sister. I love my dad. I love my brother. I love my siblings. I have friends that I love. I know what love is. It's not like love is a new phenomena that I have never felt before in my life. You get, I have felt it. I know what it is. And I know that no matter what it is, that let's say a random colleague that I just care about, that I don't even love self. I don't even love deeply. I just care about this person because maybe we go to work together and we laugh from 9 to 5 and then I go home. You get, a random colleague, no matter what he does to me, I will not condemn that person to eternal death, eternal fire. And you want to tell me that a God that loves me more than my mother because I had sex before marriage, that is not even his business. He will burn me to fire. It makes no sense. The logic is not even there. It's stupid. It's stupid.
All loving God.
All loving God.
God is love.
God is love, and they sing it as song, but doesn't make any sense. And at the same breath, tell me hellfire is real. Why would anybody do that? Makes no sense. Are you trying to tell me that mere human beings, are more loving than this your all-loving God? So these are just like things I'm just seeing. Like
they won't just admit it.
They are literally not making sense to me. And these are very famous Christian doctrines. These are very, very huge, famous doctrines that most of them go by. And then let's not just be like it's Christianity that we are all talking about. They all have, I'm just looking at all of them. Is it Islam? Makes zero sense. None of them. I'm just like, okay, you know what? And the thing is that I have always believed in evolution. It has always just made more sense to me. Evolution sense.
So it made sense to you as a Christian, like you didn't. Didn't clash with your faith.
It never clashed with my listen. From the time I was in GS3 when we first started learning about evolution. It just made so much sense to me that evolution happened, because even in the minutest scale of, in the way that beings, and by beings I mean living things adapts to their environment. You can see that scale over 1 million years and see how evolution can happen. Just some tiny thing as adaptation.
But there's a challenge. Did you believe Adam and Eve at that point? Yeah.
Oh, so the thing is that I believe that evolution was real. What I believed is that the first 5 books of the Bible are myth, are Jewish myth, and it's okay to have myth. It's okay to build a religion around myth. We all have our myth. And as somebody who has studied cultures, it's my favorite thing to read about history, study human culture. Some of my favorite thing to do. As someone who has studied human culture, there is no way you can read the first 5 books of the Bible and you will not know that it's just mythology. None of
It's
those things
hard though.
happen. So even when I
It's hard
was
though.
still a Christianity, I took the first 5 books of the Bible as a mythology because
Yeah, but wait, hold on. Work with me. If the first 5 books are mythology, did you believe Jesus died on the cross and rose again?
yeah, I believe you just died on the cross and rose again.
So that's where the collision starts now.
Nah, see,
Because if Adam did not sin, Jesus is useless. But okay, your mind you did not do all those calculations, Abi.
I don't even used to do calculation now. See, at the time I was thinking, at the time like of me, I was deconstructing a lot of Christianity on my own on different parts. I was deconstructing hell, and then I was now, the more I studied history and what do you call it? History and cultures, I started deconstructing the first 5 books of the Bible.
Yeah.
Then the more I studied history again and everything, I started on learning the things St. Paul teaches. And I did not even start, I didn't, all the 13 books of St. Paul, I didn't used to read them. To me, they were just the rantings of a misogynistic, racist man that just,
As a Christian,
that just had the opportunity to write.
these thoughts were you as a Christian.
So I like that was the things the way they were coming to the processes I was beginning to unlearn. The last thing I unlearned as a Christian is Jesus. Because Jesus is Jesus is portrayed as a liberal person. Jesus is in the, like, if you, in the context of, in that time, especially if you juxtapose him with the Pharisees and the Jewish people at that time, Jesus and his teachings were very, 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 very much liberal. And as a liberal person, I couldn't really hate on Jesus. You get? So a lot of things were just, first of all, discussion. Like, last thing I deconstructed as a Christian before finally saying this is not for me was Jesus and his teachings. But the first 5 books were easy for me to deconstruct. Very, very easy. Very, very easy. First of all, we know myths have characteristics. Myths always happen within the vicinity of the people that create it. The Yoruba creation myth is that Oduduwa came down from heaven and landed in Ile-Ife. He never said that Oduduwa landed in London, because at the point of the other creation myth, the Yoruba people did not know that London existed or that there was any other Onitsha. It never said that. It always happens in the vicinity of the people that own that myth, or within the worldview of, around their worldview, the extent of their worldview. Never they pass that their worldview.
Yeah.
There's a reason why the Garden of Eden exists in the Middle East. There's a reason why Noah's Ark was flooded and landed in the Middle East. You get? All of these things are just convenient myths that just happen around these people. It's their myth. It's just, it makes sense. You get? When they are talking about the children of Tower of Babel in the Middle East, the children of Noah going to distribute world, what do you call it? Going around the world to go and born children. Where did they go? Everywhere they went to, it's still within the Middle East. None of them went further than the Middle East. You get? They said, I've forgotten the name of the show. Is it Ham and Sham and Naphtha? I forgot, or Jeff. I don't know the name. The 3 children, they spread to have children. All of them that spread. Yes, all of them that spread. The place is spread through. All of them are still within the Middle East. Because at the time, the Jews did not have a worldview that was beyond the Levant or the Middle East area. So that's just how myths happen. Myths just happen within those areas. And there is no difference between, and another thing is that there are several myths always tend to have several accounts because they used to be passed down orally. The myth of the Jewish people luckily was written down at a very, very, very early time, but most of them to pass down orally. And before the myth of creation was written down. I'm sure it was have been passed down orally for a bit, and there were
Yeah,
several
now that's
accounts.
why there's confusion in Genesis 1 and 2.
And Genesis 1 and Genesis 2. Why is there literally two different versions? Literally in the same book of the Bible. Why? If it's not a myth. Why is there two versions?
Exactly.
You get so that like
Yeah.
and what's the difference between they use sand to create somebody and Oduduwa came down from heaven with a cockerel and a shell? How is that different? No, it's not different. One is just one
But
is
it's,
just one is just very popular than the other.
yeah, exactly. Oh.
It's not different. Like there's nothing intrinsically different in the creation story than any other mythology. It's not even with the one of the Norse people that had a giant, a giant tree and a giant that had like the world was. It's not even different from the Mount Olympus of the Greeks. It's not different. It's really not
You go
different.
to the Hindus.
It's just that it was written down on time. It's a creation myth. It's a creation story. It's fun.
Yes, and
So
we here in Africa, most of us we don't write anything.
yeah, unfortunately, most of us not right. I won't say it's unfortunate. Writing is not the only way to pass down history, and it's not the most legitimate way because, as we know, things that are written can be wrong. I still like so we did pass down most of them in our stories, like Oduduwa's coming down with a chain, a cockerel, and a shell. It was passed down through stories, and it's just to me, it's just still as valid a creation story
Yeah.
as Adam and Eve. One happens in Ile-Ife, the other one happens in Tigris and Euphrates. Same thing.
But they won't see it, so it's
Well, that's their business,
boy,
sha.
bust my head. So
That's their
wait,
business.
how far with Juju matter? How are you dealing with it just when you were a Christian?
Every time they're always talking about Juju matter. My own is just simple. I feel like things human beings use is natural for human beings to create things to solve their problems. Even at the most what do you call it? The most unreliable people still make things to solve their problems. Nigeria is going through it. A huge chunk of Nigerians are suffering. If Juju was real and powerful as they say it is, do you think Nigeria will be in the state that it is? I'm like, what are you using that Juju for?
I tell
People
you,
talk about how Juju is real. Juju can make people disappear. Juju can make you do that. Juju can make what they are using Juju to do. What at most I still suspect. Especially people they say they are grabbing on the road and then returning without body parts. I think mostly what they are doing is organ harvesting and then masquerading it as Juju because people will just say this Juju, they use Juju to do it. I think there's organ harvesting rings in Lagos. Hello, Alpha, are you there?
I do.
Oh,
The
okay.
network is going in and out.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, so that's it for me. Actually, I'm not big on the existence of Juju, but funny enough, one another reason too. There are a lot of things that help me deconstruct Christianity, especially, was my interest in African tradition religion, especially Omenala, that's Ordinala, Igbo traditional religion. So I got into it as a child. I started reading Igbo history as a child. I became interested. The Igbo cosmology and Igbo mythology is so huge, so wild, so marvelous, so beautiful. And it annoyed me that a lot of these things were just thrown away and are called fetish today because of Christianity. And they are not. They are not even, they are just like
Alpha.
beautiful. So I was saying that as regards Juju itself, another things that really helped me deconstruct Christianity is my love for African religion, African traditions. So from when I've been young, I've been very interested in Igbo culture, Igbo customs, Igbo tradition, and most importantly, Ordinala, that's Igbo religion. So I have been studying it for a while, learning about them. When we travel to the village like this, I'm the one that goes around, enters like our ancient shrines, and the one that's traveling around village, trying to find out the myth about our people. So I love that. I love religion, and the more I learn about Igbo traditional religion, I learned that the Igbo cosmology is so rich, so large, so beautiful, and a lot of it have been lost. Like a huge chunk of it have been lost, and we'll never. And the thing is that we will never ever recover them. Our great grandchildren, our children, us now, you'll never ever know more than half of the secrets that our great grandfathers, our forefathers, and our foremothers had. We will never know those things. Why? Because Christianity came and slashed all of them. And how did Christianity do that? Christianity did that by painting African religion as
evil.
What do you call it? Not inferior. No, not inferior. As fetish. They say, oh my God, they are all diabolical. And it was a white supremacist agenda. When the colonialists came, it was a white supremacist agenda to wipe off the religions that we had and replace it with theirs, colonialism, all of that. The main fact that Christianity has been used as a weapon for colonialism is another thing that will make me not to stand for it. Not even just Christianity. Islam too was used as a weapon of colonialism by the Arabs when they came down, swooped. That wasn't even colonialism. Jihad was a literal genocide, going around killing people that lived in northern Nigeria and instituting their religion. Same thing happened in the southern Nigeria. Why should I, like this, stand on my two legs and worship this same God that saw the killing of these people and said, yes, you know what, as long as my word is being spread, I support it? Sounds like a racist God to me.
Very racist. Very racist. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. I just want to be sure. This network, they scare me. The Bible itself already shows racism.
Sorry, the generator is so loud now. You might have to speak a bit louder for me to hear you proper.
Can you hear me well now? What of now?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, yes.
Yeah, I said that the racism in the Bible is so clear. Like if God is always my people, the Israelites, my people,
Gentiles.
my people.
The Gentiles was a slur. It sounds like a racial slur.
Yeah, nah, fucking niggas.
Yeah, Gentiles is fucking, like, God was a genocidal maniac. Go into the land of the Amalekites and kill everybody. Why? What I'm just thinking, children were asleep in Amalek when this fucking God said go and kill them. Why? Just to prove, so that they might know that I am the Lord. Have we done? They are all dead.
When they kill them, they will pack gold and silver for God.
Like, he has always. It is why it's one of these why of all the religions, Christianity can literally be weaponized for anything. It is a my people, their people thing. It's not just Islam that does it with the infidel thing. God did it throughout the Old Testament.
Is the
Jews, not the Gentiles, rubbish.
Abrahamic religions is their nature to dominate. They believe it's my own God that is in charge. So everybody shut the fuck up.
Yeah, and I think that is a downside to monotheist religions. Polytheist religions are already used to having several gods coexist. You get? But the whole philosophy of monotheism is that it is just the one God. Every other God, that's so yeah.
As the audacity of Christians when they are annoyed that people are mocking their God. I'm like, you fuckers mock people's gods on a daily
basis.
Like, how dare you? How dare you, man? Fucking hell. So, bro, now to wrap it up, the listener has heard your story, but someone might relate to your story. Your experiences. Being queer, seeing how the Bible doesn't make sense, how it takes queer people and all that. What advice would you have for such a person who is still holding on to their God? Like, they know due to some experiences and like believing God did this for that, did this for them, and so on. What do you advise for them to that will help them to see things more clearly?
So here's the thing. I would say that in the end, it's you that will finally find your way out of it. There might be things that might help you, but in the end, it's you that have to make up your mind to leave. But the thing is, do not let it be how would I put it? If you're not ready, you don't have to. It's okay to just chill and just enjoy the comfort that religion offers, because religion is very, very comfortable. Once you just leave religion, you're now thinking, oh my God, once I die, that is it. And it's a very, very scary, it's a very, very, very scary thought. So it's easier if you cannot like take the existential crisis that comes with leaving Christianity at that point. It's okay to be in it. Enjoy the comforts. I like it. Like I always say, it's one thing that for all the things that it has made and for all the fear it has made me and my dad fight, I see the joy it brings him, and I like it. He's a retired man. I like that religion occupies his time now, and he finds purpose in it. A lot of queer people find purpose in religion. Actually, it's hard in Nigeria to be queer. So if you find purpose in something, find purpose in, hold on, I guess. Like a lot of queer people are huge on singing in choirs. It's usually the things they live for. If it's that, nice. I won't say you have to leave it. No, you have to find for yourself and what works and what doesn't work for you. But in the end, we will all find out.
Would we? Well, how do we find it? We go down die now.
We go down die, yo. We go down die. Our existence will all amount to nothing in the end.
Yeah, they give to say when you die, you'll find out. I'm like, you do realize that this experience you have is all courtesy of your gray matter in your skull.
I swear.
When you just understand how basic science works, you begin to question like, how do I feel the pain of hellfire when my nervous system is gone?
Like you said, it's your spirit that is feeling it. Okay, I'm confused. Your spirit is not physical. How will it burn? See, I don't even know. It's always a spiritual torture. I don't even know. There is a whole lot of head mathematics in it that I don't want to calculate.
Super gymnastics, mental gymnastics.
The mental gymnastics of hellfire is a lot. Like heaven does never even sound fun like that. I'll just go and just be worshiping this egotistical God that is not tired of people worshiping him since that 19 Begodum. You know the tire? We will not be doing it forever and ever.
He will now say he doesn't need your praises, that he can raise up stones. I'm like, motherfucker, raise up the damn stones and leave me alone.
Like raise the stones.
Raise the stones up. Like, what kind of gaslighting is that?
Imagine the sights of seeing stones singing. Like, do it. Let me video and post on TikTok.
How low is your self-esteem that you need to be praised per second? Oh, they go do all right. So, bro, thank you for sharing your story with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was fun.
Yes. It was very fun, very, very fun. Even though network tried to focus on, but we move. Thank you for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed Chidi's story. If you are yet to subscribe, please consider subscribing on Apple, Spotify, Google, and any other place that podcasts are available. If you like to share your story, please reach out. The links are in the show notes below, social media, email, and so on. So now, have a great week, and I'll catch you on the next one.